Just a few months after the stunning revelations about the pyramids in the year 2025, the world was shaken again by news coming from the very heart of Egypt. Brand new ground-penetrating radar data, obtained literally a couple of weeks ago, revealed something so incredible that it is hard to believe. In the depths beneath the Giza plateau lies a secret capable of changing forever how we perceive the history of the pyramids. It all began in March of the year 2025. That was when archaeologists first spoke about a find beneath the Pyramid of Khafre, a find that shocked the scholarly world. Professor Corrado Malanga and Filippo Biondi presented scanned images where spiral staircases and gigantic vertical shafts descending more than 600 meters into the Egyptian sands were clearly visible. These structures were so precise and so evidently man-made that explaining them away as geological quirks seemed simply impossible. But as often happens, official Egyptologists, led by the infamous Dr. Zahi Hawass, hurried to debunk the sensation. Everything they said was interference, errors in the data, misunderstandings, and of course no conspiracies. Everything you think about these theories is absolute nonsense. We are not hiding anything, Hawass declared. Yet only a few weeks passed and the world heard something far more astonishing. A new discovery had been made. Underground, striking, and without exaggeration, revolutionary. What was found beneath the pyramids overturns our ideas about ancient Egypt. The scans showed that beneath the Pyramid of Khafre, there truly exists a branching system, a carefully engineered labyrinth of symmetrical chambers, extended tunnels, and skillfully constructed rooms. The complexity and engineering precision of these subterranean features raised the central question: who built them? And more importantly, how could something like this remain secret for thousands of years? Is it possible that these works were created by a civilization we know nothing about? But that is not all. A separate group of Japanese scientists discovered a strange, L-shaped structure near the western cemetery of Giza. Using modern methods of ground-penetrating radar and electrical resistivity tomography, they found a construction concealed just 2 meters beneath the sand, and directly under it, an even more enigmatic square void, 5 to 10 meters deep. What is it? An ancient portal? An entrance to something far more extensive? In this episode, we will unpack, step by step, what exactly lies hidden under the Giza plateau. We will dive into the sensational finds by Malanga's team beneath the Pyramid of Khafre, examine the puzzling structures resembling portals beneath the Giza cemetery, and try to understand why official sources are so reluctant to acknowledge these discoveries. History has shown again and again, what is rejected at first often becomes a sensation with time. Think of Göbekli Tepe or Karahan Tepe. When they were first found, most specialists waved them off. It can't be, too early, too complex. And now they are recognized as revolutionary archaeological sites. So is the same thing happening again beneath the Egyptian sands? Or is there something more? Could it be that certain circles find it convenient for the truth about underground Giza to remain hidden? Be that as it may, such things cannot be concealed forever. The evidence is growing ever more compelling. Let us return to the beginning, to where it all started. Imagine this. You are standing on the famous Giza plateau. Scorching heat, sands glittering under the sun, and around you rise the most enigmatic constructions on the planet, the pyramids. And you are part of a scientific expedition, scanning the ground beneath these ancient colossi. No one knows what the equipment will reveal. And suddenly, something utterly unexpected flashes across the radar screens. Right beneath the Pyramid of Khafre, That is exactly what happened in March of the year 2025. Professor Corrado Malanga and his team presented the results of a large-scale radar investigation. International media instantly picked up the news. 4 mysterious spiral structures had been detected beneath the pyramid. Their origin and purpose were unclear. It could have been nature's play or a human design. The radar showed these forms winding downward beneath the plateau as if leading into the very heart of the Earth. Such precision and unusual shape immediately drew the attention of scholars. Was this geological oddity or traces of ancient construction? Additionally, the radars detected possible channels or tunnels through which water once flowed. That information prompted a thought. What if we are looking at traces of ancient engineering? Perhaps our ancestors controlled water and built underground systems. And although at that time it all remained at the hypothesis stage, the very fact was staggering, especially given that the ancient Egyptians were indeed renowned for their mastery of water management. If these underground systems are confirmed, it could reshape our understanding not only of the pyramids, but of Egyptian civilization as a whole. As soon as the news reached the public, many eminent archaeologists, including Dr. Zahi Hawass, hurried to issue refutations. He stated, "This is not true. This cannot be. Are you saying they are lying? Yes, they are lying." He asserted that the radar readings were exaggerated, that these were simply natural forms, and that the technology does not yield reliable information at such depths. His argument was simple. One should trust only real scientists, not those Italians. To which journalists reasonably replied, "Those Italians are scientists too, and are using the most modern methods." Malanga supporters stood their ground. Their equipment was precise, the scans clear, the results repeatedly verified. Nevertheless, official Egyptologists insisted, the spirals are an illusion, the water is geology, all of it is just noise. But should we be so quick to conclude? Remember how science reacted to unexpected discoveries in the past. Tutankhamun's tomb? At first, some called it a fabrication. The Dead Sea Scrolls? Long considered forgeries. History knows many examples where the scientific community first frowned skeptically, and only years later accepted the facts. So it is here as well. Despite criticism and doubts, Malanga's team did not back down. Their data were obtained with high-precision equipment. Highly detailed scans showed not only spirals and voids, but also possible tunnels. They insisted that we are not looking at nature's chaos, but at a clearly designed system. And although in March of the year 2025, it all seemed unbelievable, the key questions were already being asked. Is this the work of humans or a geological anomaly? Are these structures connected to water routes or to something else? No one could have imagined then that this was only the beginning. June of the same year, the unbearable heat returns to the Giza plateau, and Professor Corrado Malanga and his colleague Filippo Biondi make a new statement, even more sensational. New scans beneath the Pyramid of Khafra showed not just tunnels. They recorded a colossal underground complex, huge chambers, spiral staircases, a complex network of tunnels plunging into the depths. This time, everything was clear, unambiguous. Even skeptics were left perplexed. Judge for yourself. The radar images showed vertical shafts descending to a depth of more than 600 meters. That is almost twice the height of the Eiffel Tower. Chambers up to 80 meters wide, as large as an Olympic pool or a big city hall. All of it arranged symmetrically, measured and engineered. There could be no talk of chance. The scale is hard to overstate. It was a true underground city, hidden beneath the sands for millennia. Everything indicated that we were not seeing a natural phenomenon, but the work of human hands. As expected, the news spread around the world instantly. Media, archaeologists, history enthusiasts, everyone was stunned. But with that came a new round of debate. The same critics, including Hawass, spoke in the usual key: unverified, exaggerated, impossible. They insisted it was either equipment error or misinterpretation of data. But this time, the Italian team was ready. All scans had been duplicated with different instruments, the results confirmed by multiple methods. Everything was documented, everything transparent. It was real scientific work, not a hastily cooked-up sensation. And here, the crucial question arose. Why does official archaeology stubbornly refuse to recognize the obvious? Malanga and his colleagues offered an expanded commentary. They emphasized, this is architecture, not geology. Everything is too precise, too symmetrical, too rational. Such chambers and tunnels could not have arisen by accident. They were clearly built. But if that is true, who built them? If humans created all this, then either the ancient Egyptians were far more advanced than we imagine, or there exists something we do not wish to acknowledge. Perhaps these are traces of forgotten civilizations that vanished long before the first dynasties. Civilizations whose existence could completely overturn our understanding of human history. Even with persuasive data, official archaeology continued to urge caution. Skepticism is normal, especially in science. But why in this case was the reaction so harsh, so categorical? Malanga's team openly declared, if it is confirmed that a subterranean complex truly exists beneath the pyramids, this will be a turning point in human history. For it would mean that Egypt once hosted a civilization capable of building the most complex constructions at depths of hundreds of meters, and possibly long before the pharaohs. And now ask yourself, did the ancient Egyptians really build the pyramids? One of the strangest enigmas of the Giza pyramids is the complete absence of concrete information about who and how built them. Not a single wall inside the pyramids gives clear indications. No names, no schematics, no records of construction. Nothing. The entire official version rests on a single inscription discovered centuries after the building, mentioning the name of Pharaoh Khufu. And even that is merely graffiti likely made years, or even centuries, after the pyramid was raised. Imagine building a gigantic skyscraper. You spend years, strength, and resources. Would you not want to leave a memory of yourself, a plaque, an attribution? And here, silence. This leads to a striking thought. Perhaps the pyramids were not built by Egyptians at all, but by representatives of a much older, now lost civilization. Theories about this have long existed, but they encounter fierce resistance every time, not only from science but from authorities as well. Indeed, whenever independent researchers try to obtain permission to study underground structures, their applications are rejected again and again. Meanwhile, the Egyptian authorities strictly control everything concerning excavations in the pyramid area. One gets the impression that someone very much does not want the truth to surface. But why conceal it? What are they afraid of? Perhaps beneath the sands lies the so-called Hall of Records, the legendary library of the ancient world where, according to myth, answers to the most important questions are stored. Who built the pyramids? Why? And from where came the knowledge that allowed such structures to be erected? If this is truly so, if this structure exists and has been found, then incredible prospects open before us. It could not merely supplement history, it could rewrite it. The reasons for official secrecy are, in a way, understandable. Egypt's economy largely relies on tourism. Millions of people come every year to see the heritage of the pharaohs. Now imagine, it turns out this heritage is not quite theirs, that the pyramids were built thousands of years earlier, and not by those considered their builders. This destroys the familiar narrative. It strikes at national pride. It raises uncomfortable questions with no ready answers. Textbooks, films, tours, everything would have to be reconsidered. Perhaps that is why new research is viewed not as scientific progress, but as a threat. But can the truth be kept under lock and key forever? Meanwhile, at the beginning of the year 2025, a new research group entered the scene. Scientists from Japan, representatives of Higashi Nippon University and Tohoku University, began their own investigations in the western part of the Giza Plateau, on the grounds of the ancient cemetery. And their find was no less significant than the Italian discoveries. Using the latest methods, ground-penetrating radar and resistivity tomography, the Japanese team discovered a strange L-shaped structure only 2 meters below the surface, about 10 by 10 meters in size. But the most interesting thing is how it was hidden. The construction had clearly been deliberately covered with sand. Someone wanted it not to be found, and that is only the tip of the iceberg. Beneath this enigmatic structure, the instruments registered another void, a square one of the same size, but at a depth of 5 to 10 meters. The scans show that this is not merely dense mass or a piece of rock, but an empty chamber, possibly containing air or loose material. The scientists documented everything as thoroughly as possible and published their data in the reputable journal, Archaeological Research in Asia. The report states, the shape, the placement, the concealment under sand, all point to human construction. Naturally, this stirred a storm of interest. What is this place? An entrance to an ancient hall, a repository, a secret passage, and why was it hidden so carefully? What makes this discovery especially intriguing is how it resonates with Egyptian legends. Ancient traditions speak of hidden halls and passages beneath the Giza Plateau. For a long time, that was thought to be fiction, beautiful tales. But now there is scientific corroboration. Perhaps the very Hall of Records exists, or at least something that inspired the legends. It seems the history we know is only part of the truth. The real story still hides beneath layers of centuries and sand. The more we learn, the clearer it becomes. Our history is like a book with torn-out pages, especially concerning the origin of civilization. Each time archaeologists find something truly unusual, be it the underground works in Giza or the enigmatic megaliths in Turkey, it becomes clear we do not yet see the whole picture. And precisely in this context, the finds beneath Giza take on special significance. These tunnels, chambers, and possible portals call into question the very foundation of our chronology. Perhaps our dating is wrong, or we have underestimated the development level of ancient peoples. Remember Göbekli Tepe, the place that changed our view of early humanity. It was uncovered in the 1990s by the archaeologist Klaus Schmidt. Initially, few took it seriously. Too old, too complex. Hunter-gatherers could not have built such structures. Then the excavations began. Massive stone pillars, intricate images, thoughtful planning, and most importantly, its age. More than 12,000 years. That is thousands of years earlier than previously thought possible. It had been assumed that people could not build anything then. It turns out they could. Later, another site was found near Göbekli Tepe, Karahan Tepe. It is in no way inferior to its elder brother. Equally sophisticated constructions, sculptures, clear signs of organized society. All of this in the same era, around 10,000 years before our era. These two sites were a cold shower for science. They forced dogmas to be reconsidered and textbooks to be revised. They proved that advanced communities existed long before the emergence of the first civilizations in Egypt and Mesopotamia. And now, a logical question arises. Is the same story repeating? Are we on the threshold of yet another revision of the past? What has been found beneath Giza, tunnels, chambers, strange geometric structures, not only aligns in structure with the Turkish megaliths, but the discoveries complement each other like puzzle pieces. And in both cases, science first rejects, and then under the pressure of facts, agrees. Perhaps we are standing before a new paradigm. The idea that civilization did not suddenly appear, but existed long before the advent of writing. A civilization that possessed knowledge in architecture, astronomy, and engineering, and perhaps perished in a global catastrophe. It is fascinating that ancient legends worldwide speak of highly developed civilizations existing before a great flood. Sumerian stories, Indian epics, the traditions of the indigenous peoples of both Americas, all share a single motif. There was a golden age, a mighty culture, and it disappeared in a catastrophe, most often associated with water. For a long time, scholars treated these tales as myths. Yet as data accumulates, it becomes clear, perhaps these tales conceal historical truth. Geological research over recent decades has confirmed that around 12,000 years ago, a sharp climatic shift indeed occurred. This period is called the Younger Dryas. Global weather patterns changed, glaciers melted, sea levels rose. Such an event could have destroyed coastal civilizations, flooded cities, and wiped advanced societies from the map, leaving behind only stone ruins and silent legends. Göbekli Tepe dates to this period, and according to some data, so might the subterranean structures of Giza. Too many coincidences to ignore. One of the main arguments for a more ancient origin of the Egyptian monuments is the enigmatic Sphinx. Geologist Robert Schoch conducted studies showing that the Sphinx bears traces of erosion characteristic specifically of water. But Giza has not seen heavy rains for thousands of years, which means the Sphinx is far older than official sources claim. Moreover, there is a stele known as the Inventory Stela, found near the pyramids. It states plainly that the Sphinx and other monuments were already ancient in pharaonic times. Yes, official archaeology rejects that stele, but it exists, and it is yet another brick in the wall of alternative history. All this evidence, from Turkey to Egypt, from legends to scanners, forms a single picture. Perhaps beneath the sands of Giza truly lies the legacy of a civilization that lived long before the pharaohs. A civilization that may have carried knowledge, architecture, and culture that do not fit our usual chronology. And if this is confirmed, we face a revision of the entire history of humankind. Today, we have a unique chance to begin filling those torn-out pages of history. The underground complexes of Giza may become a starting point, the place where a new chapter begins, in which we stop viewing the past through the prism of dogma and start accepting facts, however inconvenient they may be. And perhaps then, we will finally approach an answer to one of the most important questions. Who actually built the pyramids? You can be part of this process. Share your thoughts, theories, and versions in the comments. What are your hypotheses? What if everything we have considered myths is in fact fragments of truth, forgotten and masked? by time. I will definitely respond to the most interesting comments. For now, stay curious. See you on the TopFacts channel. Right now, watch our previous incredible episodes.